All right. So here are some of the factors that influence the effect that alcohol can have on your body. First of all, your body size. The bigger that you are, um, generally, the more that it will take for you to feel that drunk. Because I guess you have more blood, so it would take more to have a higher amount of your BAC, right? So your gender. So females generally have less water that they hold inside their body than males. So, and the enzyme that controls alcohol processing is 70% more effective in males than females. So, in general, women are going to feel the effects of alcohol a little bit faster. So, just something to keep in mind. One of the best things that you can do if you are drinking is to eat food. It's actually really critical that you do that beforehand. It slows the passage of alcohol into the bloodstream. So you don't run the risk of getting way too drunk too quickly. That can easily happen on empty stomach. The rate of intake is also super important. How fast do you drink? You should be spacing these drinks out. If you are drinking, obviously you're supposed to drink in moderation. That means spacing it out over a long period of time. If you're having 3 drinks in an hour, that's too many. That you're just getting way too drunk way too quickly. The total amount, how much that you should drink, I would set like a firm limit for yourself if you are going to be drinking when you're of the age of 21 or above, right? I would make a very strict rule that I'm not going to go over 3, maybe 4 drinks over the course of the night, and that's just how you know that you're not going to run into a situation where you are out of control, and dangerous things can happen when you're out of control. The last thing is that if you're taking any medications, alcohol can interfere with the effects of those medications. Some medications are so deadly when you mix them together that taking, like, let's say, one of pill and then drinking with it, it's almost like you multiply that amount of drinks that you had by 5, because that's how much it impacts you. So you really have to be careful that if it says do not mix with alcohol, that you really do listen and don't mix with it. So a hangover is what happens when you drink a lot the night before and you feel awful the next morning. So the effects of it's you're basically recovering from the alcohol. You're almost like going through withdrawal that happened. So it's called a hangover. You feel really tired, dizzy. You can have a really nasty headache or a muscle ache. You might feel nauseous. You might throw up. You're going to feel very thirsty. You might just feel very depressed or anxiety. Now, there's things that you can do to slow down a hangover. Some people say that a shower wakes you up. Not really. Some people say one of the best things you can do is to mix in water. So if you're going to go out and you have a beer, have a water with it, like order both at the same time. Then you drink your beer and then you drink your water afterwards, and then you're kind of spacing that out. And you'll be less likely to be dehydrated, which is one of the symptoms of a hangover, because even though you're drinking liquid into your body, it's not actually making you more hydrated. The only real cure to a hangover is simply time. You just have to wait it out. That's the only real way. So alcohol use. Alcohol impairments lead to accidents, unsafe behaviors. So in 33% of suicides, look at all these numbers here: homicides, assaults, manslaughter, where you accidentally cause the death of somebody, traffic deaths, drowning. All of these look at the amount of percentages that alcohol is involved with it. So domestic abuse, child abuse, neglect, workplace injuries, a lot of these can be prevented if alcohol is not introduced at all. So you're going to want to write this down. A DWI is driving while intoxicated. DUI is driving under the influence. So at 0.2 of your BAC, you already start to show signs of intoxication. But 0.8 is the maximum BAC that you can have for a driver. If you have more than that, you can get these consequences, and this is what you really need to write down. It could be physical harm to the driver and any other people driving with you. Some people, a lot of people have died because they crashed the car because they got behind the wheel with somebody that said that they were okay to drive, but they really weren't. You could lose your driving privileges. You could just lose your license. You can be arrested, actually go to jail because of it. Your insurance fees are going to go through the roof because they can no longer trust you to be a safe driver, and excessive fines too, like really big fines that could really put a damper on you. All of these things are to try to slow you down and make you think twice about ever going out and drinking.